the NewsChannel 5 network, this is MorningLine with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Beres here on a Monday. Do indeed hope you had a very good weekend, and we're starting off this week with a great show. We're going to invite you to join in the conversation. We'll get the phone number up there and your chance to call in. We're not only airing this morning on the Plus here, okay, we're also going to be streaming live at NewsChannel5.com on Facebook, so you can go there and message us as well as we talk about a special report that's airing here on our NewsChannel 5 network, Broken, and that is the work of our NewsChannel 5 I-Team Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams with us this morning. Good to have you. Thank you. It's always very appreciative of our entire crew here when you take time in the early morning to join us, but I know it's for a very important story.
Yeah, this has really become a passion project for me and for the whole team. Every single member of our investigative unit is working on this project for November because it's such an important project.
Well, and when you say working on it, you've been working on this for several months, have you not?
About 6 months ago is when I first started working on this, and it's been just a complete immersive learning experience because it really began with it seemed like almost every day we had some juvenile crime that was in the news, carjackings, murders, shootings. And I really just wanted to know what in the heck is going on. Why does this keep happening? And the more that I got into this, the more the word broken came to mind, because this system is completely broken. We are dealing with children who are in their own ways, they're broken. They have lots and lots of personal issues that are driving juvenile crime. And so, what we're trying to do is to show how the system is broken and how the system is failing these children. I mean, it's one thing to look at them and see, young criminals. What we're going to try to do during this experience is to look at them and see them as children who are being failed by the system, and try to get at what's wrong with the system, because you can't fix it unless you know what's broken.
Yep. And listen, Phil, you hit it on the head. I come in early and do these live breaking news hits. Every other morning there's a shooting, it seems like, in Metro, and quite often it involves teens. Be it a carjacking, a home invasion, a 16-year-old dumped at the hospital with a gunshot wound. And we've all kind of done stories along the lines of, okay, well, this has happened, the teens, why, and looked at it. What you're doing now is what I think we've needed to do for a long time, and I like what you call it, an experience. This is not a one-time story. And before we get into showing some of the clips and get into the details and take phone calls, let's just explain the different platforms this is going to be on and the way you've put this together. It's not just one story.
No, we have completely blown up the model for the way that we we do television. Because this is such a big topic. It's such an important topic that we're essentially doing a series of mini documentaries, and then we'll have versions for broadcast, but then we'll also have these extended versions that people can look at on Roku, on our NewsChannel 5 app on Roku, on Amazon Fire TV, on Apple TV. We'll have extended versions posted on our website, NewsChannel5.com, and so you'll see a story on our broadcasts, but then you can also go to those other platforms to see extended versions, almost mini documentaries.
Which I think this was important to you to do, from the sense that in a newscast, as you and I both know, you have certain time constraints to fill a whole newscast. So maybe you're turning, and I-Team gets more time sometimes. You can do 5-6 minute pieces, but this is going to allow you, for instance, right now, isn't there a half-hour piece that's posted right now? Yeah,
we spent, as part of this, we spent several times over a course of a 6-week period. We spent several nights riding with the Metro Police Juvenile Crime Task Force, and as we were riding along, I kept thinking that, my goodness, I wish the public could see what we're seeing. And finally, at some point, I just said, okay, we have got to do just a special a 30-minute documentary, in this case, about what it's like on the front lines with those officers who are trying to deal with juvenile crime in our city. And I want to be very clear about something. This is not just a Nashville problem, because the kids who are coming, or there are kids who are coming from Nashville and going to other communities.
Sure.
They're going to Hendersonville, they're going to Brentwood, they're going to Columbia, they're going to Clarksville. And so Middle Tennessee's, or Nashville's juvenile crime problem has become Middle Tennessee's juvenile crime problem. And so, but to go back to your question, we have this 30-minute special about life on the front lines. It's not going to air on broadcast. You can go right now to those platforms.
Most all of those OTT devices, right? And just do the News Channel 5 app.
Right, and you can see. And we're going to show some clips from that 30-minute documentary. We
should lead into it. And another thing I like about this, Phil, I think you and I both know too, broadcast TV still has its place and roles. More and more people are getting news from exactly where you're going with this. And I suspect after Broken moves, and you'll do more and News will do more, we're going to be showing more and more stuff on these OTTs. Yeah. That's just the way it is. That's the future. And that's where a lot of people get their news now.
And it gives us the freedom to tell the story the way it needs to be told.
Before we take our first break, do you want to show one of our first clips? We have 3 we're going to show, but since you just led up to it, let's show it.
Yeah, there's one that, we're going to start with a clip that shows really what life is like for these officers. You know, officers are in dangerous situations. But we found ourselves in the middle of a pretty dangerous situation with the members of the Juvenile Crime Task Force. Photojournalist Brian Staples and I were riding with them. This actually was on the first night that we rode with them.
And you never know what you're going to get, but boy, did you get something that night. Let's have a look at that piece if we can, the first one that we'll show you throughout the show today.
That's it right there. Okay, if I'm on my phone. Hang on just a second. Is that your vehicle? Would you mind if I just check your ID and registration just to make sure they matched? And then absolutely. You got any weapons on you? Mr. Taz, you got anything in the car we need to get out?
Call their ship down here.
Where?
Call me David.
Can we use Charles D. Lafayette?
Guys, stay over here.
Sorry. If you're dealing with somebody, stay with them. Pete Herman's down here.
I'm notifying them.
Male black. White jeans on. Blue shorts, black shorts. Drive back to the playboard. On cannon.
Back towards the playboard on cannon.
Male left on playboard.
Left on playboard.
20, I got it.
What's your 20?
Playboard and cannon.
That's okay.
Shot 5 more coming in front of you.
All right, get Central down here. Central Flex and Harmon is down here until we get this figured out.
Okay, I've got 510 Charles, Claiborne, and Cannon looking for you guys. Where are you in that area?
Walk over to our cars on Charles E. Davis. Just have Hermitage and Central flood this area so we can deal with this without having gunshots going around us.
So we had one individual that we'd watching on cameras that we initially got directed to over here. Well, so we were walking up on him, he threw a gun. So we had him detained. While that was going on, we heard shots being fired over here near Claiborne and near Lafayette. So as we rushed over there, we have one individual that flees from us. We get him in custody. He's claiming that he's a narcotics dealer and had a deal go bad. And they were shooting at him. We're getting him in custody and walking him back. Shots, 2 different groups of shots being fired over here at University Court. So all at one time, we've got World War III going on.
Yeah, because you're down in this car.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8 police officers here, and right next to us, they're shooting each other.
Phil, this was your first night out, and it's not as though this was like then out of the blue. I mean, I know it doesn't necessarily happen every night, but that's more common than, say, something out of the ordinary, is it not?
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of officers, and they say, that this is something we experience on a regular basis. And what really struck me is you had all of those officers running straight toward the gunfire.
And you're hearing gunshots. That's what's amazing. You think about the service of these officers, and they go to work every day, and they don't know if they're going to get shot at or if they're going to be in the middle of something like that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the danger that they deal with, and you feel sorry for, and every other night. Listen, we'll take a break, and okay, we have other pieces. We're going to take some comments on Facebook if you want to join us, as well as you can give us a call, 737-7587, as we're talking with News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams about his special report, Broken. We'll be back with more right after this.